Twitter could be taken by Elon Musk, but there might be other private suitors. There are talks that Elon Musk would bring in other people to create a more tender offer for Twitter, driving the price up a little bit more. We know that he said it's his best offer, but this is business and you have to negotiate. And could there be a price one day of $69.42 with a private equity firm joining with Elon Musk? Tom, what are your takes on possible suitors joining with Elon to buy Twitter?
I think that there's definitely entities who would love to buy Twitter, even though they're a shit company as far as monetization goes. We've talked about this. They can't make any money. But there's a lot of entities who would love to get their hands on Twitter, but unfortunately, they cannot bid. They know it's not going to happen from an antitrust perspective. Google would love to put their hands on it. Facebook would love to put their hands on it 100% at way more than 43 billion, even though the company is not making any money. But those guys are not going to go. It's not going to go through, even with the lackluster antitrust regulations and enforcement we have in the US. So if you are barring these players from the game, which seems to be logical, you are left with potential other private equity players that will come in and try and take a stab at this. In my opinion, it's going to be hard to do a bidding war against somebody who's not financially motivated, who's highly dedicated to the idea of owning this, and who has more money than God. So getting into a bidding war against Elon on a company that's basically has trash monetization over the past 8 years and didn't make anything, you're going to have a tough time. I don't think there's any suitors coming.
Justin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the story that we picked out for today was actually that Elon this is what everybody's talking about, is Elon hinting a possible tender offer for Twitter. Pulling up the tweet here. He just tweeted, "Love me tender," which is a reference to a Elvis Presley song. And it hints at a tender offer, which means instead of trying to convince the board, he would go to just public shareholders and try to get them to sell directly to him. The one thing that I think is kind of interesting, though, is I'm not really quite sure, because I'm not like a corporate attorney, but if he does cross that 15% threshold, then I wonder if existing shareholders can buy shares at a 50% discount via the poison pill and then go turn around and sell those shares at the tender offer to Musk, which actually makes it I don't think that a tender offer, from what I know from the initial facts, would actually end around the poison pill. Doesn't seem like that would work. I think the poison pill is quite poisonous, so to speak. So
Justin, when you mean existing shareholders, could if I had 5 Twitter shares, could I buy them at a 50% discount, or are you talking about insiders?
Yeah. So that's the whole poison pill, right? Is if you own Twitter right now, once Musk gets over 15%, the company will allow you to buy new shares. So you're creating new shares at a 50% discount.
So my Robinhood would go from $40 to $20 a share price for me.
Well, I actually think you do it directly to the company. I don't think it's done through brokerages, but essentially it's a winning trade, right? I mean, it's because there's an arbitrage there. And then if Musk is offering $54.20 a share, you could turn around and sell him those shares. So I don't actually think that a tender offer would work unless I am missing some facts. But I think that was the interesting thing about the story is, I think honestly, I'm going to have a bold call. I think that we're still under 50% chance the deal gets done.
So here's my theory. It's a very interesting perspective, and I think we agree from different perspectives on this. Before I continue, I just want to correct myself. I referenced earlier a case. The case it's a 1985 case. It's called Moran versus Household International Incorporated. So that's the case I was talking about, that basically set all the boundaries of what a poison pill implementation should look like. And by the way, in that lawsuit, basically what Twitter board can use from that lawsuit, if I was their counsel, and I'm not, fuck them. But if I was their counsel, what I would tell them, hey, you can actually make a case that Elon is what you would say a negative influence on the company because he's in hot water with the SEC. He's been already fined by the SEC. He's been sued by the SEC. He's been in trouble with the SEC. We don't want that. It's bad for our culture. So you can probably make a case. You can make shish kebabs with his all Tesla 420 case to try and make it as if that's what you're trying to prevent with Twitter. But it's going to be a very hard case to make. Now, as far as what Justin said earlier, I agree with him from a whole different perspective. I think, and I said this in my own channel, I don't think he wants this. He knows this bid is not going to happen. So basically, he made this bid knowing damn straight the board, from the all self-serving perspective, is going to reject it despite massive value for shareholders, knowing that he's going to basically create a price that the share can be basically capped at.
I actually think that if you do $46 a share, the market, I think, thinks the deal won't happen more than it will. Or maybe it's like a 50-50, right? Because pre-Elon, what was it, 38, 39 a share? Yep. And Elon's bid is 54. So it's somewhere in between those two, right? So.
But even if the market, even without the deal, just the poison pill enactment, the shareholders' right provision enactment in itself, by definition, already pushes the price down. If you know 85% of shareholders are going to be buying at a 50% discount, massive amount of shares in the upcoming few weeks or months, the price is, this is exactly what's happening right now. That's why you see the price sub 50, because people know about this.
Yeah. And I think that this is one of the dangers. It calls out one of the dangers of a massively, I guess, distributedly owned public company, and how you can't run a company without like real directed, I mean, even founder led or like a CEO led directive, right? Like this consensus where everybody wants different things doesn't really lead companies well. And I'm just going to have to say it. It's kind of like the Ethereum network. It's kind of the same thing.
Justin, I was literally going to say it brings into question what a DAO could actually be in the real world.
Yeah, I'm going to get flamed for that. But I think you have to think about these governance things.